Oh boy. Okay. Okay, it's just me right now. Ding. All right, wonderful people who are looking at this broadcast. Oh, got some people coming here. Okay, so just let me get myself set up here. Get this camera all the way down. Here we go. We can do it. Okay, I'm in a very tiny chair because I pulled something in my back and it hurts. And so I'm down here. Ooh, boy. Boy. What a day. What a day. Pain is something, I tell you. Pain just teaches you things. Pain teaches you self-care in a way you just can't learn it otherwise. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in the process. So hello and welcome everybody. Hello and welcome. And this is Beginner Emotions for Dummies. And I am the host of said Beginner Emotions for Dummies, Dr. Donnie. And I will talk about myself in 1 second. I just want to take a moment and make sure I'm comfortable before we get started, because as I mentioned, I'm in back pain. So just give me 1 second here. Just let me. I have a cane over here now. I'm going to grab a sweater. I'm starting to get a little chilly. Let's see. Let me use the cane. How about that? Let me grab it. Let me get up with the cane. Oh, bear with me 1 second. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I decided I had summer goals, right? I wanted to get in shape. I wanted a 6-pack for the summer. So, spring break came up and I decided to get cracking on getting my 6-pack together. And pulled something in my back. And so I have been in bed and lots of creams and ointments and heating pads and the whatnot, and hearing things pop. It's slowly over time getting better. But it hurts. It hurts. It's a constant dull pain. And yeah, so it's been kind of a rough couple of weeks. Okay. Some other stuff went on in my life too. So I always like to start class before I start talking about the class and everything else. I always like to start class off with feelings, because this class is all about emotions, right? So, and this class is all about helping people get in touch with their emotions in a real basic intro way, because emotions are tough. And so I really want to help. See little things in my hair there. I really want to help people with getting in touch with their emotions in a way that is much more, easier if possible. Okay, this is about the easiest it can get. Okay, and these exercises all really helped me, so I really want to help others. So I want to start off by asking, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing today? If you can hear my voice, you are more than welcome to type an answer in. You're more than welcome to type an answer in, whatever works for you. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm Sarah. I think I might be the only participant.
Hi, Sarah. I'm looking here, and it looks like you are. So how wonderful that is. And welcome. And how are you feeling today?
Well, I was feeling really resistant to joining, but I know that I really need to, and I really want to, and I want to do this for myself. And it's really hard to do when you're not in that, when it's not oh, I need to learn emotions because I'm feeling struggling or whatever, or you want to heal. But when you're feeling positive, and then to learn something that's scary is so I'm glad that I guess I'm feeling nervous. I'm feeling glad that I showed up. I was feeling comforted that you said you have back pain. I have ankylosing spondylitis, so pain is just a chronic thing in my spine for me. So I'm totally I was like, this guy must be psychic. and then nobody else was here, and I was like, okay, this is like a sign from the universe that's like, girl, you need this bad. Like,
Yeah.
it's obvious, like, like every, you get enough signs that you're like, I can't back out. you
Ah,
know
yeah.
because
That's
I'm
great.
terrified. Like, the things I've lived through are nothing. Like, my own emotions, my own feelings, nothing scares me more. Like, it's really hard. Like, it's I just like I'm completely illiterate. Like, I even had to like look up definitions once before of like where things like feel in the body and things like that, to try to like go backwards and be like, okay, this goes this way, so I must be feeling like anger, I must be feeling shame or embarrassment, or I must be feeling hopeful. Like, I just do not have any of that language. I mean, I don't know which are, I mean, I speak English, I know what the words are and like kind of the idea, but I actually don't know what those are like for me, or what they like. I can't identify what I'm feeling. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I feel emotions strongly too.
You said you feel them strongly?
Yeah, like, I'm really sensitive. Like, I've always had a high sensitivity to like every, like, I mean, as far as I know, I'm just like, no matter, like, they're just intense. They're really intense for me.
So you feel the emotions really strongly, but you don't have a language for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's just take a moment and just honor that's where you're at in the journey. That's where you're at in the journey. So just the compassion or whatever you went through, whatever it took to get to this point, I feel the need to say this, but often we don't develop that language because of the trauma. And often developing that language would bring the trauma back up. And so often we don't have an incentive to bring that back up because it would be so painful. So without any skills, why would you want to develop that language, right? Calling it pain and putting a word on it just might make it hurt all the more. And so it's so maybe you don't have that language because that was a way for your body, yourself, the part of you that loves you. It was a way to keep you safe. So just acknowledge that was just one more coping mechanism that we need to get in touch with and love ourselves through. It's really important.
Yeah, spot on.
Spot on. All right. Well, then that means you're here for the right reason. And if you're the only one here, it means you're the only one who needed to be here today, right? So yeah. So I'm just so honored that you stuck it out. Honored that you opened up about your fear. You know how brave that is? Like, for real, okay? Like, yeah, good for you. Like, for real, good for you. Okay, you light years ahead of some other people. Okay, for real. Okay, so all right, yeah. Well, welcome so much, and yeah, welcome so much, and yeah, this is the place for exactly that, to just get some information. So I'll just say a bit about myself here. Let me share the workbook so we can all get on the same page here. Pop on over to that, and I will share my screen. So my name is Dr. Donnie, and I have my own stuff happen to me. Obviously stuff in my lifetime, being I'm a queer person and Black and all, and some emotional things connected to that for sure. But in the last few years of my life, I had my own personal problems, family. I essentially was disowned from my family about 3 years ago. And over some family stuff that came to the surface that I did not know about for most of my life. And it was hugely earth-shattering when it all went down. And I had no resources for knowing how to deal with this. Or I had some resources, but they weren't working very well, I'll put it to you that way. And I was feeling a lot of pain, a lot of mental, I always say this, one day I'll get the phone call telling me I have cancer, or I'll finally get that phone call telling me my best friends died, or that kind of thing that you can't go back from. That's just painful, and it's just the ongoing pain, and that's what I was dealing with. And so I had to figure out some kind of way to heal. And over the process of a year, I read a ton of research on trauma, developmental psychology, various approaches to healing. And I put together this workbook. Well, I put together a workbook for healing, which is called the Book of You. And then from that workbook, I've begun putting together these classes called Emotions for Dummies. And this is the first of those classes. And if you stick with this process through to, so there's a beginner course, there's a medium course, a regular course, and then there's an advanced course. And if you make it to the advanced course, I will give you a copy of the whole Book of You workbook. So you have all these exercises at your disposal. For now, however, I should mention a few other things about me. I'm a sociology professor at CSU East Bay. I have gotten into social emotional learning, so I'm putting together all these classes. I'm going up for tenure right now for my job as a professor. So, hopefully we'll find out how that's going in June. I'm trying to survive to the end of the semester like everyone else is. And I'm getting my next COVID vaccine shot in a couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to that too. And I'm learning and growing and healing, with everyone else, right? So these classes are not just for you, they're for me. And we're all learning how to do this work together. Okay. So as you can see here, I wanted to mention, if any of this helps you at all, please consider making a small donation also, it's all for free, but if you care and if this really helps at all and you get something out of it, just think about that. And if you, I was gonna say something else. If you can't give today, allow yourself to receive. Allow yourself to just receive as much as you can from these classes. Till you feel you've received so much you'd have to give, okay? That's the best attitude for giving anyway, when you've just received so much richness, you couldn't help but give, okay? Okay, so last week, we went through a self-care plan where we talked a whole bunch about how to take care of ourselves and what that looks like in all kinds of different domains, how to take care of ourselves mentally, physically, how we relate to the world, how we relate to other people. We just went through a whole series of things there. So please go and take a look at that and work on that. A self-care plan is never a one and done kind of thing. It's an ongoing, an always ongoing process of getting in touch with yourself, right? We don't write a self-care plan just to write some cute things down. We write down what we honestly do, as honest as we can be, at least. And then we write down what would be the healthier option. And we may or may not pick the healthier option in our life, but at least we wrote it down. So that way, maybe one day we will be able to pick the healthier option. So it's always, how honest can we be about ourselves? And then what might be a healthier option, okay? I honestly, when I get stressed out, I just grab handfuls of gummy bears and I just shove them down my mouth, okay? The healthier option might be, low-fat gummy bears, okay?
Yeah, food for me too. Sugar, the comfort foods for me too.
Right on, right
Sorry,
on.
I'm on the, I only have the phone. Sorry, I was like, it's.
Oh, you're on the
Trying to
phone.
see.
Okay.
I'm on the phone only. Yeah, I don't have I'm not home to do
Okay.
I wasn't prepared for. I mean, I'm home, but I'm able to open it, so I'm looking at it as you're talking about the honest go-to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
This is
missed this
good.
part. I forgot to say this, but this class is also very, very designed for you to relax. It is very much for you to get in touch with your feelings. You really got to be in a comfortable place, right? So I really hard to help everybody to really relax into this. So you don't ever have to read a single solitary thing ever in this class ever. I handed it to you. You can always, there will be a copy of this that will show up later from YouTube. You are more than welcome to get the workbook later. All you have to do is relax and listen to the sound of my voice. Okay. That's a very big part of how
Sorry. Yeah. I got nervous. Cause I'm I wasn't expecting donation. I didn't try to get organized on that. And
And that donation part is just a spiel that I've decided this week I need to start saying. But it's just a spiel I'm saying, and you don't have to give a single solitary thing. The most important thing I want for you is to relax and receive. Okay. Two most important things. Okay.
it's not that I don't want to. I don't like I'm not working now. And yeah, so and if I'm the only one, I understand if maybe like you don't want to do it with just me here and I can't donate. I would understand that and come
No,
to the
no, that is
next one.
not. Oh, I'm so sorry. That is not how this works. That is totally not how this works. I don't want to give you that impression at all. This is a place to come and get this information and practice together. And you don't have to ever give anything whatsoever. You just come. You actually gave more than many else have already given by just opening up and sharing your experiences so far. Like that is, and hey, letting me know that my pain and I'm not alone in my pain, that right there is frankly fucking priceless. Okay.
I appreciate that a lot.
Yes.
And also thank you for all the, mad scientist work you did to create this. Like, I couldn't even imagine all the, they say like takes 1,000 tries to make Edison took 1,000 tries, like 100,000 ways to not make a light bulb before he did. So like, just imagine all the feelings you had to go through to get to the ones that worked. So like, kudos on you. That's intense.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a journey. It's a journey. It's really a journey. So welcome to the journey. Welcome to the journey. Okay, so just get comfortable. Okay, just get comfortable. That's the most important part here. And hello, Pranav. Hello again.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry for being a little bit late.
Quite all right. Quite all right. Quite all right. So, I should ask before we get going, how are you feeling today?
I'm doing a bit of, I don't know how to explain. I'm doing good and bad. Didn't really have a good week this week in the terms of social life. Had a bit trouble. Like I kept sleeping after class, and I couldn't really get my social situation. Like there was a cyberbullying that happened to me in January, and I had a call yesterday with the conduct office, and apparently my school does not have cyberbullying in the rules, so they got away. But in California, cyberbullying is a rule in the colleges.
Yes, it is.
But
Taken
it
very.
was really just an embarrassment.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear you had a bullying incident. Okay, so I just want to just for us to catch up to where we were here last week. We went through a list of emotions. So please take a look at this as well. When you're not on a phone, take a look at this later. There's a whole list here of just emotions. We often get used to putting our emotions into one or two words. Good, bad, happy, sad. 4 words there. So there's just a whole list of just a ton. I've never actually counted all of this, but there's hundreds. Let's go with that. Hundreds of words here to describe your feelings. Okay. So
Could you tell me which page you're on?
This is page 8. Okay, and just so you know that this chart here is organized into, you could say, negative thoughts here and the positive negative feelings and positive feelings. But it's just amazing that there's just so many words here, well, you're a college student or just someone who wants to improve your vocabulary. You can just do so much with having all these words, just to offer you more colors to the palette of your feelings. Okay, so today, let me just go back to the table of contents 1 second here. Today, we are doing mindfulness meditation and how to tell yourself the truth. Oh, yeah. 2 very important things. Mindfulness meditation is important because, to get in touch with your feelings, you have to get in touch with what's going on inside of you. If you can't actually go inside at all, well, then how on earth would you be able to have a feeling, right? The only thing you can do is react, right? So we have to move from reaction into introspection a bit here. So since this is all about meditation, why don't we just go ahead and start the meditation now, and then I'll read this stuff while we're meditating. So what I like to do with meditation, because since you may be a pro at meditation. You may have never meditated before in your life. You may have one specific kind of meditation that you regularly do. The word meditation might just bring up just totally, images in your mind of just happy, white people sitting on cushions and looking all, like they're above it all. So we're going to move beyond all that. We're going to just let all that go. We're going to just 100% let all that go and focus on breathing. We're just going to breathe. Okay. Just notice your breath. You're breathing whether you want to or not. I mean, if you don't believe me, you can just stop and see what happens. So you're breathing whether you want to or not. You don't have to change anything you're doing. You're breathing whether you want to or not. So just notice. Notice what happens when you bring attention, mindfulness to your breath. Did it change at all? Was your breath in the chest or was it in the belly? Did it stay at the same pace or did it slow down? I would say keep breathing, but I don't even have to say keep breathing. It's just happening. Just notice. Take in your whole body while you breathe. Notice your shoulders. Notice if you're clenching your legs. Just take in your face, your lower back. Not here to judge. Not here to say that breath was right, that breath was wrong. You know what? We're not even here to say that pain was right and that pain was wrong. How I feel about what happened was right. How I feel about what happened was wrong. How I reacted was right. How I reacted was wrong. We're not even here to say that. Just here to notice. Just here to notice. And if possible, let go. Let go. And if possible, offer yourself compassion and let go. So mindfulness is about examining your quality of life. Most of the time, we're caught up in doing things, but we are not human doings. We are human beings. Thus, when we examine our lives with mindfulness, we are moving deeper into our state of being in the world. For example, we use our phones to do things like send messages or check email quickly. With mindfulness, we take time to examine the things we do. Okay, like this. So we may examine each button we press, each letter we type, the layout of the app, every little bit my finger touched when I swiped my password, the colors on the screen, the feel of the haptic feedback, every letter, of the text message your friend wrote, the feeling that comes over each section when you read through it, the particular emoji that was used or how many times a particular emoji is repeated, the thought that comes up about how I should respond, what I should and shouldn't say, the other people I want to also check on, the game I maybe could play when I'm done with all of that. All that's coming up literally just in holding the phone, for 5 seconds, right? So mindfulness is about examining all the quality of what's going on inside of us, not just the doing of it, right? We are developing a more attention to the quality, not just the action, the being, not just the action. Okay. So in traditional old school meditation, we develop mindfulness by sitting in silence and being with our thoughts. The idea here is that eventually you will learn to treat yourself with compassion and let go of control. The story of the Buddha is that he was a naive prince who left his palace and saw suffering or stress in the world and vowed to end it. After several failed attempts, he sat underneath a tree and began to sink into his thoughts. And from this, he came to realize that wanting things, desire, is what led to suffering. Today, we would expand this to say that 1, thought is not real. Okay, let's just breathe into that one for a second. This is all about compassion and letting go of control. So let's just breathe into that there. Thought is not real. Thinking and imagination are the same thing, but the first reduces and represses, while the other expresses and unrepresses. Thought is not real. Okay, thought is not real. We call one thinking and we call one imagination. We call one thinking when it's serious and imagination when it's fun. But they're both the same thing. They're both the same thing. And they're both not reality. They're both stuff going on in our mind. The human mind deals with thoughts. Thought is not real. Number 2, thoughts, beliefs, and concepts shape what we think is reality. The brain only responds to thoughts, not reality. So technically, imagination makes reality, like a hologram on top of reality. Okay, let's sit with that for a second as well. Thoughts, beliefs, and concepts shape what we think is reality. They don't shape actual reality, they shape what we think is reality. So, you know, there's the phone here, and there's and then there's what I think about the phone, right? So the phone just sits there. But you know, if I'm expecting a really unpleasant conversation from somebody, the phone suddenly becomes a site of nervousness. If I think I'm going to get a ding telling me I won the lottery, though, the phone would be a place of joy. The phone doesn't change one way or the other, but the thoughts and beliefs I brought to the phone totally change what the phone means to me, right? So then my thoughts shape what I think is reality. My imagination then shapes what I think is reality. Okay, so imagination makes reality. Ain't that something? Go figure, huh? Who knew? So number 3, all stress comes from believing thoughts that don't line up with reality. What happens in life is information. Our feelings about it come from our unconscious use of the 5 frustrations of life: our assumptions and expectations, beliefs and attachments, judgments and comparisons, preferences and requirements, and attempts to manipulate and control things beyond our ego. Okay, now I know that's a big thought there, that all stress comes from believing thoughts that don't line up with reality. But if reality is the phone, and the phone just sits there, and what changed the phone was what I was thinking about the phone, well then if I had thoughts about the phone that were, you know, actually in line with the phone, which would mean the phone's just sitting there. It gives me messages, both good and bad. It sends me all sorts of things. And that's just how a phone works. Now, if I anchor into that, well, then, you know, if I get a ding saying I won the lottery or I get a bad conversation, Well, that's how a phone works. I'm open to that now, right? But when I start to think I don't want to have an unpleasant conversation. I'm avoiding that. When I'm nervously waiting for the ding that says good news is coming, that is what creates the stress of our lives. Not the phone, but the thoughts that we had connected to the phone. Okay, so the stress comes from believing the thoughts that don't line up with what's really going on. And this is all easier to see, this is all harder to see and harder to see when you're in the middle of it, right? So that's just how life works there. And what makes it hard to see is our use of our assumptions, our expectations, the beliefs and attachments we put onto things, the judgments we make, the comparisons we make, all of our preferences, all of our requirements. A lot of our preferences really are requirements most of the time, to be honest with you. And then, often we think we have control over things and we really don't. We think we can control people, control how they think, control what they do, and we often can't. Okay, let's go back to the breath. You're breathing. You're breathing whether you want to or not, right? You're breathing whether you even have a thought about it or not. You actually don't need thought to breathe. It's just happening. Thank God that you don't need thought to breathe. If you needed thought to breathe, you'd have to remember to breathe every time, and then you wouldn't live very long. So, in fact, if anything, thought often gets in the way of breathing. We get so caught up in thinking, we stop breathing. So just notice that breath. It's not easy being told thought ain't real. We hold on to all sorts of thoughts. We're attached to all kinds of thoughts. Thoughts about who we are, how the world should work. Thoughts about the past, the future. The human brain is truly amazing. It has two major sections. Our frontal lobe, which is responsible for abstract thought, planning, judgment, and our back brain, the limbic system and amygdala, which processes emotions. This part is also more connected to our spinal cord, our heart, and our stomach, our gut, which research also shows have neurons surrounding them that create our deep in the heart feelings and our gut reactions. In fact, our brains have 100 billion neurons, making 10,000 connections with each other, doing 50 processes at the same time. Unfortunately, that means the human mind can think 80,000 thoughts a day. 80,000 thoughts a day, or 1.5 thoughts a second. Worse, 98% of those thoughts are just repeated over and over. Even worse, some argue that 80% of those thoughts are negative. Add to this the fact that only 20% of the brain is conscious. The other 80% of the brain is unconscious. And it's clear how our mind can be our worst enemy. Putting a bunch of unconscious negative thoughts on repeat guarantees you will focus on what you lack, blocking your ability to be open-minded, question anything, or develop stillness and mindfulness. In contrast, Buddhism offers cultivating positive thoughts of gratitude and thankfulness, genuinely finding the good, and especially the good in what we think is bad, shifts our mind into a friend or a space of more support and possibility. These days, modern physics, spiritual people, and hippies all agree that with the creation of the Big Bang came the creation of consciousness itself. Despite that, many people feel that meditation is boring. Well, it is. When we meditate, we are boring into our inner universe, which is just as vast as the outer universe. So, boredom brings us to the kingdom, or queendom, if you like. Each person is a total inner universe of things separate from other people. It is our inner world that shapes how we make sense of our outer world. So to help us with our thoughts and feelings and to greatly expand our consciousness, in this class, we will learn a variety of techniques for developing mindfulness. Okay, so let's keep going in a little deeper here. Go back to the breath. Go back to the breath and let's see, we'll just try 1 minute. 1 minute of silence. Go inside. Just notice what happens. Just 1 whole minute, okay? You're welcome to keep your eyes open or closed. Okay, 1 whole minute. There you go. Pause and feel. How was that for you? Were there some comfortable moments, some uncomfortable moments, things you thought would happen, things you didn't think would happen? Just take note. Just take note. Did you want to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say I felt the air going. It felt like air was going through my heart and my blood and stuff. Felt really good.
Ooh, nice. Ooh, how nice. Air blowing through. It's lovely. Yeah?
I'd like to share that the saying that thoughts aren't real was an immense relief. And the reason for that is like I have a phobia about breathing. And I breathing I always associate with pain. I always associate like physically hurts me to breathe. So like concentrate. I'm usually red in the face because I hold my breath a lot. And I breathe because like I've been holding my breath and I'm like, and then I get so afraid about like these stories around like why that could be. And I just kept telling myself thoughts aren't real. I'm like, I always try to control my thoughts. And I don't need to control them because they're not real. And that was like a huge relief. Like, doesn't matter what I think or what comes up about what I'm experiencing because that's not real. So I felt like I was able to go so much deeper than ever in meditation because I'm not afraid of the boredom. I'm afraid of the feeling of the physical like I always thought I'm like, oh, I must have some trauma with my diaphragm. And I even remember like I just had this memory of being younger and being in bed and like I would be consciously breathing and like I was so afraid that if I didn't control my breathing, like consciously breathe, like think to breathe, that I would stop breathing. And so when you had said that, like you don't need to think to breathe, I was like, wow, like you're just like I I realized, I don't know, it was just amazing, like that. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I just really
Yeah.
wanted to share that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was also trying to say that the terminologies used, like empathy, compassion, kindness. I got the terms like I got compassion and kindness mixed up. So I was also looking things up while in the session, and turns out what I thought was kindness, what I was doing was apparently, according to their definition, compassion. So that's something new. Didn't realize that.
Hmm. Well, that's something new and a bonus. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Let that oxygen of compassion flow right through all those veins. Yes, right into your heart. Amen. And that's exactly it. It's this wonderful realization that all that thought. I also as a kid had the thought that, oh, I gotta remember the breathe, or I gotta like I used to hold my breath all the time as a kid when I got nervous. I have to remind myself to breathe and things. And I remember having the thought once. I was like, what if I don't remember to breathe, then I won't be able to do it? And that made me all super nervous. And
I would be up all hours of the night. Like I couldn't wait till I passed out so that I would finally let go of controlling my breath so that I could breathe. Like I would do it. I would literally do it hours and hours and hours on end in like such a controlled way because I don't know. It's hard not to analyze like why. Like I didn't trust my body to breathe or whatever. So I try to just let that go. But I also remember like when meditation came out and everybody was like super into meditation and I was just like, I mean, I was doing that as like that's meant like I'm an expert meditator. I control my breath constantly, but like it was like I remember thinking it was funny that like I guess I was meditating, but it was not like pleasant. It was terrifying. And so that's like part of why now I usually have like a fear of meditating, I think. But this was like the first time I've ever like even gone this deep. So that's wow.
so I'm gonna offer some loving words here, just so this is the psychoeducation part I want to offer. As children, we can't control our minds, right? Like we're talking here. And so our minds are this humongous, creative, amazing thing. And without proper guidance from an adult to counsel us through some of those difficult parts of what our mind can do to us, we can get really trapped in some weird loops. That some really if you're trapped in fear, hurt, and an adult isn't around to then help you process those things, then yes, you can mentally spin, develop all kinds of really, you can drive yourself crazy. You can drive yourself totally crazy as a kid, trying to deal with it because you just didn't get the guidance that you would have needed. An adult could easily pop in and say, hey, no, not that, this, and then you'd be fine. But without the adult to do that, you can just stay stuck and crazy for years as a child. And I know that because I did. So that's why I want to offer that there. And so I thought I was great at meditation too for a long time. But no one taught me meditation quite like this, like getting in touch with these feelings. So I knew how to just look silent. I knew how to do that really well. But if I was going to be honest, when I sat and tried to meditate, my mind was going absolutely bonkers crazy, losing it. And I made a decision 3 years ago that had to be the real practice, not just trying to look silent, right? So this is the real work here. The real work here is what that little kid went through and making some peace, giving the little kid who went crazy and didn't have that adult there to give them some peace. We're gonna really do the work to give that little kid some peace. Okay. So why don't we try 2 minutes? Let's try 2 minutes of meditation this time. How wonderful. How wonderful. If it was good for 1, it'll probably be good for 2. As always, just notice your breath. I'm just going to offer it to you if you'd like to go deeper in any way. See if you can notice what you feel, and then see if you can release what you feel. Pain in my shoulder, and then see if you can release it. I feel happy today. See if you can release it. Feel it, and then see if you can release it. I'm still upset over Bill Clinton winning the election back in 1993. Okay, feel it. And then see if you can release it. Okay, so that's what we're going to try. We're going to try that now, okay? Just breathe. Not here to judge. And just note all those things I mentioned, those examples, not here to judge, not here to judge. Just see what comes up for you in this moment. Notice, make space to acknowledge it. See if you're willing to release it. Whatever comes up, just notice, acknowledge, make space for it, acknowledge it, welcome it. It's here for you. And release. Just let it go. It's here, and it's not much control we have. I mean, do we really have a whole lot of control over? We have no control over our thoughts. They're just going to keep coming. 80,000 a day. It's a constant cycle. So just notice. Not here to judge. Notice and let go. Also, I can offer that the human mind can only see four things: thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and images. So the human mind can't see reality, just thoughts, feelings, bodily sensations, and images. So whatever's coming up for you, you can notice the thoughts, notice the feelings, notice what you feel in your body, notice the pictures that show up in your mind. Now, I mentioned my back pain earlier, and then I had thoughts about how long is this back pain gonna last? I'm doing the best I can to take care of myself, and I'm still in pain. I gotta go. Where's that cane? I need the cane here. I should really get that cane. I'm all self-conscious about having to walk with a cane also. Okay, thoughts. Lots of thoughts. Ooh. Ooh. And then that brought on feelings. Okay, stress, worry, frustration. Okay, bodily sensations of the tension in my lower back, the dull pain, radiating pain I feel in my left hip, the tension I feel in my feet touching the ground. And then I had images of me sitting in the chair, images of me walking down the street with the cane, images of me still in pain a year from now, images of what I used to be when I was able-bodied. All these images, all that shows up. 80,000 thoughts a day, all that shows up. Just notice. Not here to judge. So easy to go into judgment sometimes too, you know? Oh, not here to judge. You know, I like to say, I came to this conclusion about 2 weeks ago. The only job anyone actually has is to love themselves through their life. You know, we're all trying to get a career going, get an education, keep our job. The only actual job anyone is guaranteed to have is to love yourself through everything you go through in your life. Who the hell else is supposed to do it? It would have to be you. I suppose, it's God's job too. I suppose it's God's job too, whatever higher power you got going on there. But God clearly put us here so we could do it for us, right? So that is the one job. So whatever happens in life, I get tenure, I don't get tenure. Whatever happens, we are all fully employed. Fully employed. Whatever the unemployment rate is at the current moment, the underemployment rate, which is double the employment rate, which is double the unemployment rate right now. Whatever that number is, however horrible it is, we are all fully employed in the job of learning to love ourselves through whatever it is we are dealing with. Even if you get put on total disability, you are still fully employed in the job of loving yourself. Ain't that the motherfucking truth? Oh. So this is the practice. This is the practice. Opening up to more compassion, opening up our ability to get in touch with what's going on inside. Bit by bit, however we can handle it, step by step, building a practice for learning how to love ourselves. So that way, the next time the next argument happens, the next time we get bullied, the next time our parents wouldn't give us the I'm sorry we wanted, we waited for decades to finally hear and it still never came. The next time the pain shows up and I can't sit through the pain anymore, the next ding on my phone I'm trying to avoid, the next phone call I was trying to avoid, the next argument, the commute home, that is the time to apply these things. Those are the real Buddha moments of life, the real challenges of life. Nobody wants the negatives of life to happen to us, right? Nobody wants the bad phone call, the run out of money, nobody wants to get cancer, nobody wants their friend to leave, to break up with them, nobody wants their partner to break up with them, nobody wants to get old, nobody wants to get sick. And yet all these things are going to happen to somebody, if not all of us, eventually anyway. And so making peace with these things is the real practice. Is the real practice. Learning to love ourselves through our real life. Okay. So let's take a pause. Take a pause here. Just note however you're feeling right now. Just note how this exercise worked, right? We went through a meditation. All I did was say, hey, focus on your breath. And I read all this stuff here. Just note how all that made you feel. Note how what came up for you. You can do this for yourself at any time. It's always here, right? That's the gift of nothingness, silence. It's always here, underneath it all. Okay. The mind can drive you crazy, but the breath can bring you back to reality. So that's always really good to know. That's always really good to know. Mind is infinite. Okay, so you can go from being in a classroom right now. If I told you, imagine yourself on a skyscraper right now, being held by King Kong, in a spaceship. You can do it because that's the power of the mind. That is the power of the mind. Okay. Which is why you can drive yourself crazy so well. Why we can all drive ourselves crazy so well. But the breath can't do all that. So just focus back on the breath to bring you right back to reality. Okay, and not just that scary reality of what am I going to do, but a kind reality, one that's just about breathing. Okay. A peaceful reality. You know, even if my breath, even if I only had one lung and I had smoked for 20 years and my breath just was a hacking cough, I just brought it back to the breath and not all the thinking. That would still be something relaxing, or more relaxing than what it was before. Okay. 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 Well, if anyone has anything to say, let me know. But otherwise, we'll move on to our next exercise, which is on how to tell yourself the truth. So excited.
I just want to say thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Like,
Oh,
this is more than winning the lottery from my personal experience. Like,
oh, oh.
I don't have those thoughts. I don't have, it's like all the physical, it's like that thoughts are a real thing. I could say that to myself and my body like submits. Like, I just want to, like, I'm really grateful. Like, I'm really, really grateful. Like, seriously grateful. I just want to say that. Yeah, like, it's really legit. I'm really grateful.
I always keep something here for me. Like my eyes. Oh, you are so welcome. I'm just going to appreciate that for a minute.
Well, you don't even know, man. Like, you don't even know. Like,
Oh, I know. I think I do
the
know.
years of my life, like, I lost to this.
I feel it, baby. I feel it. I feel it, yeah.
But I feel lucky because I have a solution. So many people don't. Doesn't matter if my parents weren't there for them, or like who, this is such a common problem. It's like, I feel really so lucky to have a solution for me that works after trying so many things that didn't work. Just got so lucky. I don't even understand how lucky you, like, you don't understand. I'm sorry, I couldn't be myself.
Ooh, just let it wash over you. Just let all that gratitude just wash over you. Yeah.
And I almost didn't come. Because I was like, it's gonna be another thing. I have to multitask through because it's so painful. Like,
Oh. Oh, just breathe. Yeah, that's the breath. Back to the breath. Yeah. Back to the breath. See, the mind can't even hold all that gratitude either. Just let the breath have it. Just let the breath have it.
like, you just give me that one little inch, I'm gonna go miles with that. like miles. I don't even know because I've been so introspective for so long. I have like all these other tons of tools, but like I can't like have the energy, like I don't have the key to unlock them. And like now it's like I can use all the tools I have, and like
Yes.
it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Like
Yeah.
I've been working at this for a long time. It's not like I just showed up and like got lucky. Like I mean, I've been working to get like a keystone for so long to cross that bridge. Like you don't even know. Like it's wild. So thank you.
It's God. It's God. You said it yourself. You're here for a reason. There you go. There you go. Oh, Pranav, did you want to say something? I'm sorry.
And she had valid stuff to say. And as I can see, you're also feeling it as well.
Yeah.
But my thing had no relevance to what she was saying. Sure, hers was much more authentic. Mine was more of a dream.
That's okay. That's okay.
In that case, mine was just a utopian version of Venice Beach, where everyone's nice to each other, no more fighting, no more trashy parents, people who care for each other, people have decency, people are more open about what they feel rather than waiting till the last minute and then letting it out like parents do this, friends do this, fortunately. So just a utopia that I've pretty much thought of in my head since childhood.
Yeah, like a loving Venice Beach. Totally. Totally. Where everyone's just hugging and getting along and all coming together. And it's just like the perfect day of perfect community. Yeah, I feel you on that one. Oh. Mm, 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 mm. See, and you were worried about a donation. Now, come on.
It's just like I don't know if this is helpful to share, but like telling myself, like it just came, the language just came like to me as I was doing it. Like I've been escaping my imagination. Like I don't need to see shit. Like I was escaping my imagination my whole life. Like I like to be around and have that. Like I didn't have any pictures. Like just to be able to tell myself and feel that like my thoughts are just an assumption. Like I don't know. Like I gave so much power to my thoughts because I thought they're intuition. Like I don't understand the difference. Like this thought is telling me something and I don't know what to do with it. Like I don't like it's too like you know like it was just there was never a solution. But like there doesn't need to be a solution because it's just an assumption. Like I don't know. I'd like create all these stories of like the things I'd feel and like what could that be? Is that a ghost? Is that like this energy? What is energy? Like what is the universe? Like all these things that are just assumptions or fears, like, but they're just assumptions. I don't actually know. And just not feeling it doesn't mean it's not there. So if I fucking ghost crawling all over me, pulling me, whatever, like it's there all the time. Like me recognizing it doesn't make it not there. Like I'm alive. So like it just was able to like challenge my like the emotion was lessened enough to actually like squash it, you know? Like I felt like I had the power to be like, you have no power here, thought. Like you're not real. Like you're just not real. Like you're just an assumption. You really have no evidence to like you cannot prove that. You know? And like I'm a very intuitive person and like I thought I was and I pride myself on that. And then it's almost like maybe I hyperdrove used into, and I don't need to analyze it, but maybe like I hyperdrove intuition to the point where it's like I couldn't, like they got confused, or like maybe all the things I thought were intuition weren't real. And like that's something else I can explore, but it doesn't really matter because like this is more than enough. But yeah, just like telling you this assumption is like, it's like, because that is true. That is actually true. Like, I don't need the world, the universe in my head. Like, I just need to like, I needed that. Like,
Yes, I can hear
way
you
to
have
like
opened
pull the
up to a
mask off
whole
the
new
world.
world. I can hear it. I can hear it. You have opened up to a whole new world. I can really hear it. You are like, exploring like a little kid again. I can hear it. I can hear it in your voice. That's
I like, I'm almost afraid to ask you. I'm like, do you talk about the difference between intuition or thoughts? Or like, I don't want to ruin it. Like, maybe I shouldn't know. Like, maybe don't tell me. But or is
uh
intuition made up too? Is that imagination?
uh what I would say is the more you can deconstruct all these thoughts, your intuition will take care of itself. You won't have to question whether it's intuition or not. It will just boom happen. Yeah.
That's, I think, one of my fears is that I'm like, is it coming from God? Is it coming from me? Like, what's me? What's, what's God? What's like, if I was like, sometimes even when I'm creative, I'm like, is this really me? Where is this coming from? Like, where does an idea come from? And like things like that scare me. Because it's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to just be a robot or like something. Like, you know what I mean? So like, I think I really held to my thoughts for some strange fears, but I don't need to like, whatever it is the truth. I don't need to know it. Like, me knowing it isn't going to change whatever the truth is. So I kind of feel like I'm not like,
That's
it's not
it.
like I'm not responsible, but like, if I realize I'm a robot, like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not gonna be able to be like, ex machina God, like change it. Like, so like, who,
Well,
like,
look
I
at it
just
this way.
don't get to know.
Well, look at it this way. You say robot. I mean, obviously, you're not. Nobody can be a robot, but you could say you're a robot from God. we could go with that. All human beings, all living creatures, are made in the image of God. That is the idea behind all this, the spiritual stuff, right? So in that sense, the argument here would be the less you attach to all those thoughts, the less fear you could feel, and the less of that you felt, the more you'd be operating along your intuition, your natural path of what is right for you, what's in line with your spirit, and in line with God's purpose for you. It all could.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of have a hard time because I definitely fear like energy matter, like all these unanswered questions, God, all those things. And so like I don't know if it's like uh,
Well,
like what if it's bad, or what if it's like I don't want to be something bad, but then it's like yeah, you're right. I can't like I can't. This isn't living, for
so
one.
that
So
so
might as well be the God thing, because like, but then it's like I have some responsibility. Like, you can hear me getting like diana. It's like all
yes.
these like fears. So it's like I don't need to take out the like I don't need to put any like name, like I don't need a name, like for me it's almost easier to say like intuition. It's not real. Like it's just an assumption. Like I can't, like, trying to identify might be worse. Like I don't know, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think if God is a comforting topic, like that works. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like if you feel the unknown, like I do, for me, it's scary to be like, okay, well, I'm gonna let go of thoughts and be something that I don't like. How do I know if I what I want to control me? Like, what if I hurt somebody? Like, what if it's bad? Like, and
Oh,
then I'm like, you know what
yeah,
I mean?
I
Like,
understand.
I don't want to like give over the driver's seat and then like end up in jail and be like, not I'm saying I would do anything bad, but like like we don't actually know what God is. Like who
So
knows? Like what if it,
yes, yes,
Big Brother
yes, yes,
1984,
yes.
like did you read that book? Like what if
Yeah.
it's that? Like what if I'm brainwashed? Like we don't know. Like what if
So,
God is brainwashed? Like we don't know. But this
ah,
isn't life. So I guess as long as
oh
it keeps
boy.
getting
Okay,
better.
that's
Dude, I'm telling you, like this shit goes deep.
I see. Yes, I
I'm gonna
see.
mute.
So what I'm what I what I hear is you have woven a very thick blanket of thoughts going on there. And so that comfort blanket is, one, if you try to unravel some of it, you're gonna get all kinds of, it's gonna get frayed all over the place. You're gonna feel very, very unstable there. So no one's asking you to unravel your whole security blanket in one go. All you have to do is just this moment, what feels comfortable, what doesn't. You brought up all those concerns. If I had written all them down like in a list, I probably would have gotten to about 10 there. But I just start with number one. You said that fear of the unknown. So just take that in itself. Your thoughts about the unknown. Just sit with that for a second. What is the unknown anyway? Just sit what it feels like and see if just for a minute, can you let go of your thoughts about the unknown? You just learned, for example, that thought isn't real. So your thoughts about the unknown aren't real either. And then what would happen? Will I become a robot? Well, your thoughts about robots, that's another one of those sets of thoughts there that you could sit with and see what it comes up, what you can let go of. Because thoughts about robot is maybe not real either. And then, God's intuition for me, well, the argument here would be your thoughts about God are also just thoughts. They're just thoughts. There's whatever's really going on, and then there's all these thoughts about it, right? So moving into all the thoughts is moving back into that coping mechanism, the comfort blanket, the what feels safe inside, because we've been teaching ourselves to hold on to all this fear. It's almost like hoarding, really, thought hoarding, really. And by holding on to all that stuff, we kind of do that to think we'll feel safe, but the actual feeling is insecurity and fear. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. It totally makes sense. Like my thoughts are like what makes me feel like, okay, well, I'll do good. I have control of my behavior. Like it's if I'm like afraid to lose control of what I do. Like that's, you know what I mean? Or that's a scary feeling. So
yeah. So why don't we
don't want
move
to
to feelings?
something.
So let's talk about some feelings. Let's go from meditation into feelings, because you're absolutely right. Meditation can be a challenge. And just to note, we only meditated for, let's say, 2 minutes in silence. Okay. And we did that intentionally. So only take that on to whatever degree you can handle this week. And then we're going to build on that next week. So just know that. Okay. But let's try some emotions, because the rest of the class, we're going to actually tackle some real feelings here. And I think this is really important, because your whole question was about whether God is real or really speaking to me or my intuition. And truth telling is a big way to get there, right? So this comes from Teal Swan, who is a spiritual psychic person on YouTube. She has hundreds of videos. I highly, 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 highly recommend looking at them, okay? And this is one of her videos from How to Tell the Truth. Obviously, telling the truth is an important part of developing a strong, healthy relationship with ourselves and others. For many of us, however, the truth can either be too uncomfortable or scary to embrace, especially when the truth may force us to alter our sense of reality or identity. We often don't tell the truth when something happens that we can't handle emotionally, such as when we're in danger from trauma and abuse, risk losing something important like money, love, security, when who we actually are isn't good enough to get what we want, or when we are trained by parents, adults, society, or ourselves into denial, rejection, rationalizations, and avoidance as coping mechanisms. While we often treat the truth as something stable, permanent, and objective, like universal truth, most truth is one part what people believe or all agree is accurate, and one part how your subjective emotional range is reacting to information. Our personal truth may be totally different from someone else's or what society says is true. In Buddhism, telling the truth is always balanced against compassion. Saying true things without kindness can be cruel. And that goes for saying things to yourself as well. Saying true things without kindness can be cruel. And saying kind things that are not true, which are called lies, can lead to mistrust and hurt. So, one way to deal with the difficult feelings around the truth is to explore our emotional range from negative to positive. A full truth involves expressing all of your anger, hurt, fear, understanding, and love. You can use the fingers of your hand as a way to remember this. Anger, hurt, fear, understanding, love. Find a problem, issue about your life, yourself, or the world that you feel is causing you stress. Start with anger, and for each one, allow yourself to get out all of the thoughts and feelings you're having before you go on to the next one. When you get to understanding, also examine the frustrations of life. our assumptions and expectations, beliefs, judgments, preferences, requirements, and attempts to manipulate and control. If you have trouble with anger, try other words like frustrated or bothered, or try sadness or stress. Remember, you can always choose whether you want to tell someone else the truth because they may or may not want to hear it. But if you lie to yourself, you risk throwing your whole world into confusion and unconscious self-sabotage. Since you don't have all the info you would need to take responsibility and make good decisions, everything you do to address your problems won't work either, which can lead to hopelessness, resentment, and deep insecurities. In contrast, the truth gives us a solid, powerful foundation to build a life based on honesty and integrity. Or as they say it with me, the truth will set you free. Okay, so let's give this a shot. Anger, hurt, fear, understanding, and love. Let's pick, the main thing though is we pick one topic at a time. Want to just, if you want, we can just launch right into this. Sarah, you mentioned this concern around intuition. So why don't we just do that? You want to do that one?
Sure.
Okay, so let's just start with anger. What angers you about intuition? Just get it all out. Anger. What you angry about?
I feel like I'm a tool of God and like being used and just
Feel like it's too complicated. God's messages are way too damn complicated sometimes. Okay, it's just not clear enough. Makes me angry.
It's more like I feel that intuition is like comes from God and not from me. And so like any intuition I give or have isn't from me. So like I don't even know how to give to other people or like it's just like I feel that I am angry that I feel like I'm just a robot for God's plan. Like I'm just a fingernail and like to scratch. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's like I feel powerless.
Yes.
I'm angry that I have to like know that I just like I'm not like not that I'm nothing, but that like
that
it's like I'm I'm just a tool. Like
I'm just
God
a tool.
Care about me. I'm just like how God does its agenda. Like my fingernail is just how I scratch my leg, for an example, or like all the many things that a fingernail can do. So like I just feel like used as a human by God to have its agenda or what it wants or what its expression is. And like it makes me angry because I experience myself and God doesn't. So I should be me. Like I should, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like, okay, easy for you to be the boss, but you're not doing the field work.
Yes. I feel like I'm doing so much and I feel like I'm not, it's not working out the way I wanted it to. I feel like I'm just a little like a skin flake in this larger picture here, that I'm not being considered enough. I feel like the plan isn't clear and all that crap makes me angry. And there was a chunk there in the beginning where you sort of explained the rationale. And I just want to offer, you don't need to explain the rationale. You get the right to have a space to just be straight up angry about it.
Yeah, like if God's like, well, we're supposed to be a tool to God, then it's like, why are you so hard to interpret? Like, why are you making, like, if you're God, step in, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so like, don't make it so hard if we don't have a choice over it anyways. It's just like, you're sicko. You're like the lion in the jungle that tortures the animal before it eats it. Like, kill it and get it over with. Like, don't like, you know what I mean? Like, don't just like be a sicko. Sorry, I'm really angry.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like God has psychological problems. It's like, be straightforward, be honest. Like, you want us to be honest and good and loving and all these things, but like, you're not straightforward with me. You don't be like, this is what it is, and this is
That's
the clear
right.
plan, and this is how it is. And then I'm supposed to just pray to you and tell you all
Yes.
my intimate things
Yes.
and everything about
Yes.
me, but you don't show up for me.
Yes.
You don't tell me who
Yes.
you are. You make you
Yes.
so hard to understand, and I have to decipher. I don't get paid to do that. I don't survive to do
That's
that.
right.
And I
Yes.
do it anyways because I think it's right. And then you don't do what's right for me. Like, you don't share. You're not equal. It's not an equal relationship. And I'm angry about that. Like, some loving God, you can't even meet me halfway. Like, you don't deserve to know me. You don't know me. You don't deserve to know me. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I do, you know, I'm like in that relationship where you're giving, and it's not like, it's
Yeah,
not coming
man.
back. And when it is, you have to like make
Relationship.
excuses like, well,
Yes.
this could have been God, or this could have been this. And like, I'm
Yes.
always giving God the benefit of the doubt. But like, reality is about how I feel about it is, he doesn't lift his weight, or she doesn't lift its weight, or it doesn't lift its weight. It doesn't show up. It doesn't match my effort. And like, I'm being used. Like, it's bullshit. Like, why are we in a relationship when you have, you know, nothing to give? Or it's like, I'm so genuinely and authentically showing up and you're not. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Like, I'm not good enough for God. Like, come on, dude. Like, who are you? I'm not doing anything wrong. That's how I feel.
That is how you feel.
Anger. That's my anger.
Yes. Yes. Now pause and feel. Pause and just feel it. All those thoughts, right? So just pause. Let yourself have the feeling. Just pause and experience your body. Get in touch. Oh, that was good too. Oh, that was so good. Oh my God, that was so good. Oh, you just, I mean, like you just said every single thing that little kid who had to sit in church. Everything that little
Dude,
kid.
I never grew up with religion. I never even grew up with any of that. It's like,
yes.
I never even had the, like, I don't even have a legit reason to, like, I didn't have any, like, you know, this is a sin. I didn't have any of that stuff. Like, I didn't, like, this is just how I feel as me. Like,
so yeah.
like, I don't know. Like,
being human. Yeah. When you think about how it's supposed to click with God, how it's all supposed to click. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm angry at God because it's like, you have all this. And then like, even as a kid, like when you're hopeless and you go to God, because you're like, well, you know, there's like, you're no atheist in a foxhole, you'll try anything. And then God's not there. Like, to a kid, like you did that to a kid, like, fine, you're going to be hard on me now as an adult, but you did that to me as a kid. Like,
yeah,
screw you. So I never did anything to deserve that abandonment.
Okay. So now we're going to go, let's go to the next one there. Hurt. You just started. What are you hurt about?
Yeah, I'm hurt that I literally, like, I have been so good, like, my whole, like, I've been so careful just in case, like, my whole life, and like reach out to God so many different ways, and it's just like, I'm hurt that like nothing was ever enough, and so like nothing ever worked. And so it's kind of like, if you're hearing me and you can't communicate with me, either like you're benevolent and you can't reach, and then you're powerless, and I'm hurt. That's terrifying that like you are helpless too, and I don't, like, what are you? And then it's like, do I need to be the adult and save you, or like, or you're not, like, you're not benevolent, and you're just watching me suffer, reaching out to you. But apparently all these other people can talk to you and hear you, and who reach out. Or third, I'm hurt that like maybe there's something wrong with me that I can't understand. I'm hurt that I'm not, like, I can't figure it out. I'm hurt with myself. Like, I'm angry at myself that I can't like figure it out to get something that's just so basic that like to deserve like God's love. Like, you can't have, you know, like, you can't control people and stuff, but like God's love is supposed to be like there, you know, no matter what, and like unconditional. And so like it feels pretty conditional. So I'm hurt about that. And then it's either my fault or God's fault, or like there is a cause. So I mean, I'm hurt that like why can't we work this out? You know?
Yeah, I'm hurt with all the contradictions, the letdowns, Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I should just go be a hedonist because like you don't like, you know what I mean? It doesn't seem to matter. You don't stop that. Like, why like be just in case? You know what I mean? It's not like I'm afraid you're gonna, I don't even know. It's just like so shitty. It's so like
So shit.
disappointing that like it might not like
Yeah.
be what people say, and then like fine, like good for you. You got your delusion or you got your assumption that works, but like shit, like what about me? You
Mm,
know?
yeah. Feel abandoned too. Absolutely. By God. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, pause. Let yourself feel it. Just experience the feeling. Feeling of hurt. It's nothing new. Just getting in touch. And just scan your body head to toe, your heart. Just get in touch. And next is fear. What are we really afraid of here?
I feel that like if God ever did come through, I'd never be able to let go of the resentment. I'm like it's always going to be too little, too late. So like it's not going to happen. And I'm not even in hurt anymore. Like I'm past hurt. I've moved up from that. Like I've been hurt enough like with God, and I've talked to God about enough. Like I've done the like, you know, I'm past that. Like there's no more tears left to cry when it comes to that. Like
Mm.
it's dried up. Like you're not gonna hurt me like anymore. Like I'm angry with you, and like even when you do show up now, like it's not gonna be enough. Like I don't feel like God deserves me. Honestly, I truly don't. Like I really truly don't feel that. And maybe that's like fucked up, but like in a way it's like am I self-defeating? But like I just can't like it's too little too late. Like it really is too little too late with what that means to me specifically and the value of that. So I do have a fear about like I'm just gonna like this life is like maybe I'll like get it next one or reincarnate, but like I think that they're kind of just calling this one a wash for me. Like, and so I have a fear about like you know what
Yes.
I mean? Like that just like it's no
Yes.
matter what, even if I get it now, I'm gonna self-defeat it because it's like I can't let go of not having it and not understanding why and like when the timing. And so like times that I do feel like God shows up in my life, like I'd be a sport about it, but in a way I'm pissed because it's like, man, not now. When I needed you, like don't just show up now unannounced. You don't even tell me why. I'm terrified now to know that you exist. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like it's just yeah, it's like another thing. It's like, oh, when people say like divine timing, like, come on, man, like it's like, what's the point then? What's the point of you even like what's the point in even like I should just go to myself? You know, like I'm not afraid to meditate because I'm not afraid of myself. I'm afraid of the external, like, oh, ghost energy, God, like get away from me. Like I want to be with me. And I think other things disturb that. And that's like what is like, I don't want to breathe. I don't want to take anything in because I just want like, you know,
Oh yeah. Terror. Terror. Yeah. Yeah.
like I just don't trust nothing to not take advantage of me.
Always on defense. Numbness, that had fear that has frozen over into numbness, callous numbness. Yes. Yes. Just pause. Let yourself feel it. Nothing new. Get in touch with it in your body. Get in touch. Bring it into your heart, your gut. Just get in touch. Okay, and the next part is understanding. So let's use this moment to examine what sort of assumptions or expectations have we been making about this topic? What can we admit to? You know, I'm gonna say honestly, I can
No,
admit,
I can do it.
yeah,
Um,
Hold on, let me get one of my headphones just died, so I'm gonna just turn off the Bluetooth so I can actually get on my micro here. I'm making the assumption that that God exists and that like
Right. Yeah, that's true.
that if I effort, that I can make God exist through effort, if not naturally, and that like assumption that that
That'll change.
say again.
Well, you have an assumption that he'll change. That God's
Hold on,
job
I
is to
can't
listen to
click.
you, and
There we go.
that God's job is to listen to you and change.
Like, yeah, I guess it's like I want to know who's responsible for what, kind of like. So wait, can you ask me the question again, like, so I can get back to that feeling? What was the question? What am I assuming? What am I assuming?
What are the
Well, can you
assumptions?
ask again? What
What are the
was the word assumption?
Yeah, well, what is the assumptions and expectations that we're making here?
Expectations. That there's anybody or anything that could, know me outside, like help me through this human experience, like that there could be answers to questions that are things known that maybe aren't possible to be known, or that I'm assuming that also that other people who share those experiences are sound and it's real, and that or that it does give them relief, or I'm assuming what everything that people have said that influenced those was true for them. I'm assuming that I'm not already God, and that I like talk. It's like that I'm trying to just think outside the box of like God could be the thought. Like who knows? Like we don't and I guess like I'm assuming that I maybe like want something to be close to when like that might not exist or something, or no, that's not. Is that an assumption?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Oh, and the other ones are any judgments or comparisons you're making. We're definitely judging God here pretty harshly, if it turns out God is like, 999 years old and trying his best just to turn wheels and keep things spinning, we're being pretty harsh on God, really.
But God's God, like, that's like, it's like, okay, like if you're, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, but I'm just pointing out we're making judgments. I'm just pointing out.
Yeah, true. It could be that, yeah, exactly. God's helpless. But then what does that mean?
Uh-huh.
And that's also something that's like, well, other people think about that, so I have to step up and like, what if I have to help God? And like, I'm the only person who'd be like fucking worrying about this shit, but I do, because I'm like, I'm conscious, so I have to do it. Like giving thoughts power, like I feel like because I have these kind of thoughts.
That's another part of it right there, that you have to engage in this comparison of, well, if God isn't doing it, then me. And you're comparing you and God here.
Yeah.
So the judgments lend themselves immediately to comparisons. The two are very connected. You have to compare to judge, and you have to judge to compare.
And I feel like judging, like that, the experience of just being totally alone is like horrible, but it is really, really scary, because I can't really know other humans like truths, like I can't really know. I'm just assuming. And so like, what do we have in our, like, what is like our conscious, like what is life, and like what do we actually like nothing is stable, so like what's the, I don't know, it's like I'm comparing like to like but it always comes back to anger, because it's like I'm angry that I was told this, I'm angry that this was like, let me believe this, like I just like I'm so angry about like this whole experience and being conscious, and just like
anger always goes back to hurt, because anger is always a cover for being hurt. So if you ever find yourself going back to anger, it's going back to hurt, really. And hurt,
I've heard that so many times, but what is the hurt? that like, can I even hurt? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay, your
I don't
hurt is
know.
basically your feelings of betrayal, your feelings of being backstabbed, lied to, disappointment, humiliation, all that. So let's say you've been hoping for something for very long in your life, you never got it, or something in your personal relationship, friendship, whatever it may be. So therefore, you're thinking this way.
I think I see. So I'm hurt that I don't know how to make decisions. Like, I'm hurt that I don't have an operating system for life yet. I have to be
Yeah.
alive. Like,
Yeah.
that's what hurts, is that like, what am I supposed to do with this energy? And what am I supposed to do with this consciousness? And like, how do I know I'm doing what I want to be doing? Or like that I'm doing the right thing.
And if I'm hearing you correctly, I mean, you're hurt that you're so filled with doubt. You're hurt that you've had a lifetime being filled with so much doubt.
And maybe it's because others were filling her with doubt and belittling her views or whatever she thought was correct or whatever it may be, her emotions, feelings, whatever.
Yeah.
You know why else I'm hurt? Because I see other people not have to, like, they have other things, so that God, like, hurting me isn't so just like so painful. Like, I feel like they have other good experience. Like, they're more like, you know, they have other people to like, you know, commiserate with if they're hurt, or like they just have something that's like good, like not bad, like not like that gives a shit about anything that they feel ever. Like, I don't know, like they have something else to like balance the like uncertainty of life. Like, something else exists that cares about their survival, if it's not God, or like can give advice or something. But like, it's like, for me, I think that's where their hurt is so deep with God that it's like,
So
I can't even trust you. I can't trust anything. I can't trust any, like, so why are we here? Like, what's like, you know, like, I feel like my life is not like wasted, but like
Used
I'm
up,
gonna wait, you know,
like
don't give me
you're
needs
blowing
and
through
stuff.
years.
Huh?
It's like you're blowing through the years.
Blowing through the ears.
The
Oh,
years.
it's like steaming, like angry.
No, like you're
waste.
running out of time. It's like the sand stopwatch. It's like you're running out of time.
Oh yeah. It's like, oh yes. That is definitely like, like, how can I live when it's always like, when do I know I'm living? Like, you know, you say human being, like, I'm gonna be being no matter what, but then it's like, what's the point? Do I just like, if I just die, like, I can just say my thoughts aren't real and my feelings aren't real, and then like die, and then I'm like, okay, that's just another experience. Like, so like, I don't get, like, am I just like gonna just follow my impulses like until this is over? Like, what do we do here?
Yeah. So,
well, you can go.
If I could just say, if you've had lived in a life with a lot of doubt involved, there's going to be a lot of feeling lost about that for a while, finding a direction, what feels like a genuine direction, something you can actually say, this is it, and I can trust this. Those things may take a while to develop. You know, it just takes a lot of sensitivity for yourself and being willing to make space with all that ambiguity. I mean, you're sitting on all of it anyway, so can you love yourself, you know, step by step through it, so it starts to make just a little bit more sense every day. It's going to take a lot of loving yourself through it, you know. And I just want to note that a lot of what I heard there, to feel bad, you have to keep comparing yourself to something else. Like, everyone else has this connection. And, you know, everybody's connection to God has a mixed bag of things. I think we're all challenged by God in lots of ways. And I spent a long time being angry with God as well, you know, around many issues in my life. And so you know, and you know, God may lead you to be Joan of Arc, and then you get killed. so you know, I mean, God's plan for you can be a whole mystery in all sorts of ways. The next category is preferences and requirements. And so, you know, I think it's important to note here the preferences we have around wanting the clear-cut message, wanting a certain sort of direction that maybe isn't going to come for us or isn't going to come that way it's coming. And then we demand these sort of, when we don't get these things, we get angry, and then we demand them, and we make requirements out of God. We make requirements out of God. So just I think it's important to note all the requirements we're putting, the preferences and requirements we're putting on this situation here. Yeah, take note of it. Okay, so that understanding we're building, all that understanding, we said several things here. We acknowledged several assumptions and judgments and preferences here. And really all that adds up to control. I mean, let's just cut to the chase here. The last category is control, because we argue like this as a way to gain control over things we don't have control over. Yeah, the mental arguing is gives our brain, our ego, a feeling of comfort, because the actual realization that we have no control over how God's plan is going to work out for us makes us means our ego has to totally let go, and that is scary, and that getting in touch with that fear is the process of making peace with life.
I think where I get blocked is like when you say the self-love thing, it's like I so often can't move out of self-pity. And
well,
like when we were doing the meditation
yet. We haven't gotten to self-love yet.
Okay.
We're not, don't jump the gun. That's a thought.
Okay. I thought you said like self-love through that. And I'm like, I need to self-love and not self-pity, because that's just the problem. It's more demotivating, and I want to actually self-love, but I don't know how to comfort myself because I can't even give myself something stable because I don't know what's real, Yeah.
Well, let's do love then. Let's go to love. Let's just do it. Okay. You feel pity. So what's one thing to love about feeling pity?
You love the fact that you have the awareness to know how you feel.
That's one.
Because the average person will probably drink their life or smoke their life away and then take their anger out on others, and they'd realize it when they're 60 years old, living in Florida retirement home, and then they'd realize that they'd done messed up. But at least you have the awareness.
They made it to 60 without suffering. I'm suffering every day until 60 not smoking. So like I might as well smoke. Like that's how like, sorry, like.
Okay.
Then I advise professional help.
Like it's not bad.
Huh?
Okay. What's a good thing about pity?
I can't think of one. Like I distinctly feel it's different than compassion.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how, because I don't have the language.
I guess you could say at least one is not hating themselves. Either they can realize some things are out of their control, unless that's a different story. But assuming these are things out of their control, like their environment, where they're living in, like for me, it's like whatever I'm located in, like that sort of stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one good thing about pity is you'd acknowledge that that's what you're actually feeling. And acknowledging what you're actually feeling is giving yourself the validation to, open up to what your real feelings are inside, so you can cope with them. Yeah.
But the main thing is, like, many people throw blame on things that you have no control over. So over here, you can actually analyze, I should not be mad about this one. Give myself a break on this. But this I can fix. That sort of analysis. It all really comes down to that. Analyzing yourself so much.
Okay, there you go. One other thing I heard,
because I'm like, I can influence it, but when does influence cross the line into control? And at what effort level of influence is it worth? I struggle with that, because we can't control things, but we can influence them.
Yeah, the answer to that question is the moment you start to discover that you can't let go, you have moved into control. That's the answer to that one. You were influencing, and then the moment you discover that, I can't actually back up, then you have hit control.
I'd honestly say just, I know this sounds like an elementary school teacher would say this, but just try your best on whatever you can. You can only do so much with the resources you have or have not. So just get it through, see what can happen. Maybe things get better. Hope usually they do because of technological advancements. But just do your best, really. Don't hate yourself too much or hate yourself too much for things you do not have any control over. Even if your loved ones or whoever it may be is still throwing you under the bus for that. Just try your best, see what happens. If it doesn't, whoop you do.
I really
Restart
appreciate
if possible.
that. No, I really appreciate that. I feel like I do feel like more settled hearing that. It is like, yeah, I just wish that like it was like the thoughts aren't real kind of thing where I could just get to the self-pity and then have something like a tool to like soothe it or replace it, because it's like I don't want to just acknowledge I feel that way because then it's stuck there. So it's kind of like why feel something that doesn't have a band-aid.
Well, we're putting all kinds of band-aids into your feelings right now. If you can find good things about the pity, you get
I
the right.
can't. I honestly can't. I think I'd
Resilience.
rather not feel, and including not feel all the happy things, than feel that.
Okay,
Well,
I see.
well, let me just say, you're going to feel whatever you feel. You can't control your feelings. They don't work like a soda machine where you just pick the ones you want. You feel what you feel. It's going to come up as it comes up. So just take note of that. And if pity is coming up for you, then I think it's important to make a space for some compassion, to love yourself through the pity you're feeling.
How do you do that?
Yeah. Well, one would be just to breathe and to acknowledge that I'm having these thoughts and thought isn't real. And I can give myself space to just experience this feeling. That's one.
I would say just be proud of your resilience, because that's really what it is. Many people would have drank their life away, probably hurt themselves or any sort of the thing like that, but you chose to keep living, or in this case, um, persisting. There we go. That's a big word that you can use your vocabulary. But
I
you
so
chose.
appreciate that validation, because like that's part of such a big root to the anger of God is I'm like, I didn't do wrong. Like I stuck with this. Like I.
Okay, well, let's do that then.
Huh?
What's something to love about this struggle you've had with God?
Sarah, you can go.
I was kind of hoping you'd jump in.
Just
let
breathe.
the wheels spin.
Just breathe. Yeah, just breathe.
What can you say to? Sometimes I need to hear it. Like it's let it come to me, because I'll deflect it. So can you say it again? It's not that I'm not listening. It's just that like.
Yeah.
I'm in that I'm in like Mike Tyson, like he's already down and I want to keep hitting him kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like I can feel myself in that place. So like kind of like need you to say it again. Just being honest.
What's something to love about having this struggle with God?
I mean, as I would say, it's resilience, really. Resilience / persistence. That's really the main idea of this. I know it's sounding repetitive, but it's really the truth.
I think like I've told God probably every night for the past year and a half that I'm so sick of feeling proud and I want to feel something more positive than proud. Like I don't want pride to just be like, that's so empty for me, because it's like, okay, like that can't be the only thing that we have at this point. Like it's running out. Like it's not doing the job anymore. It's not getting through. Like we're going to need bigger guns here. Like, you know what I mean? Like that self-pride is only so, and it's like never, like you validated it now, but like even like the dent and like that was like awesome. for the moment, but like the amount, this glacier, it's like chipping away at a glacier with a dull spoon. And that's why I have had Luis shared about fear, about by the time I could get there, I was going to be too little too late, because it is like so much like using one emotion to work for way too many, like pride and resilience. And I can use every acronym, and like, yes, that definitely worked the first couple times. I was like, damn, girl, you're fucking damn. Like when I got down to the core of it, and I was like, ow, like you're the last thing I want to tee up against. Like you said, like afraid. And I really, really thought about it. And I'm like, I'm not afraid of anything. Like I'm not afraid to die. I'm not at this point, I'm not afraid of God, because of everything we've been through, like everything, every fear I have. It's like I was in boot
Are you
camp
really
with
those?
God or
Someone
something.
puts a gun to your head and everything from your childhood to today, start remembering
Dude,
it.
it's not even like there's no memory. It's literally just like the echoes that live in my body of like, how do I get the physical out? It's not even an introspection at this point, like having the thoughts. Like I didn't need to have the pictures. Like it just like all these, like it's really like it's like literally like, okay, the physical pain's got to go now. Like how do I get that out? Because that's not relevant. Like it's not responding to the stimuli of life. Like I'm safe now, like, so like it's kind of, and that's why I said you give me an inch, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
start
didn't really
going.
expect that answer.
Like,
Wow. Wow. Okay. That I don't know what to say. Did not expect that answer.
sorry.
Well,
Wow.
what I could offer is life is internal. So your whatever you went through back then can still be totally replaying now, even if it was 20 years ago. That little kid can, whatever they went through can still be replaying in your life. So when you said that pain, that's just not responding to outside stimuli now. Well, that pain could still totally be responding to the thing you went through 20 years ago. And that is how the human mind works.
Yeah, but it's like blocked in the body. Like you can feel it, right?
Yes.
It is blocked there. And it's like,
Yes.
how does it, like, I've tried every way to get it out. And it's like, what's going to make it come out? Like you said, like try to release it during the thing. And I kept nothing would make it release, but I just kept saying thoughts aren't real. Anything that comes up, it's not real. It's just an assumption. We don't really know. It really liked like my thoughts are real. Whatever thought you have, it isn't real. So it would loosen up with that. But like, I can't actually like, like, I don't know. I just don't know. Like, I always thought I needed the language to be like, oh, or figure, like get this out. But it's like.
So I'm just gonna offer that things come out when it's time, not when you want it to. Again, it's not your feelings aren't the soda machine. So it's really, they come up when they are ready. And your feelings are, like a real sensitive, true part of your intuition. So this is about your intuition, you getting in line with your intuition, not you ordering your intuition to get in line with you. And so, yeah.
I mean, there's also I don't know which context she's, because she has many different events in her life, but I'll say for some that she can control over, it's like you have to come to terms with it. Like you have to like take 24 hours, let's take a weekend, go through the events in your head over, even if it sucks, and say, look, this happened. Again, I do not know your specific event because it's either a mixture of my computer not working correctly or whatever it may be, like my internet or whatever. But you have to come to terms with it. And if possible, I do not know if you're seeking professional help, but I advise it's much more efficient rather than using once a week of this. I mean, again, twice is better than one. Not discrediting this because this works pretty well as well, but professional help, coming to terms, and then be like, okay, I'm done with this for a specific event, and just try to move on. It usually takes 2 to 3 days though, but one day, just use that whole day to come to terms, just relive the moment.
So I think Pranav's giving that advice because also he is seeing a counselor. I believe that's the case as well. And he's recommending just to have a day to really help yourself to process all this stuff that's coming up for you. And it may not be a pleasant day, but it's an important day for you to get in touch with this stuff. So that way, yeah, you're not still circling around, but what if?
I honestly have written like 6 books of doing this, like to myself, like journals. Like I will write and write 6 hours, 8 hours go by, no sleep. Like I can just write and 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 write around, and like I'll never. It's like it for some reason it's.
So
I wish I could express to you guys. It's like
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm hearing it. Believe me. Well, you could call it maybe obsessive thinking is what it might
Well,
be.
I think it's like everything in my life now. It's like I can't let it go because it's a reminder of that. Because it's like my reality now is what it is because of like, you know.
Are you just getting reminded of it because it's COVID and you're technically isolated? Because maybe that's why. Because if it were back to normal, would you really be thinking this every single day or whatever?
Probably less, but like that scares me more
because
it's like I'm distracted.
Yeah, I think the answer is probably yes, though.
There we go.
Yeah, she'd still be thinking all these things. I don't
but
think
it's not
it
even
is
the COVID. It's like everything about.
It's
like,
not just
that's
COVID.
just the icing on the cake of like
it's just the
another
icing on
year.
the
I
cake.
have to wait for this to be okay. Like, but then I don't want it to be like I should be able to be okay now during COVID. Like, that's an assumption, I know, but like I don't want to find some external thing. Like I'm like, oh, now I do theater and I'm in love with theater and I want to live life. Like, but then what happens if I don't have theater? Like, I don't want something external. Like, I do want to do that internal job of like, I am the thing, and everything else is like whatever, you know.
Okay. So take a breath.
Sorry.
Oh no, that's
I can't do these classes. I'm just like,
you're doing great.
I can't control myself.
I think you're doing really wonderful, actually. Yeah, I think you're doing really wonderful, actually. So this is just class 2, and there are several other classes where you actually will learn all the skills to do exactly what you just asked for, to get in touch with the stuff, to actually let it up, to know what to do when it comes up. Step by step, I will show you every single one of those skills so you can handle all of those feelings and make sense of things, okay? Now, unfortunately, I can't do that in this 1 week because that would be kind of a bit of a mind blow. So for this week, the 2 things that I think are really useful tools that I hope help is that you learn how to meditate, that thought is not real, and then you learn how to break a chunk of feelings down. You can take whatever you're feeling, the whole bamboozle of what you're feeling, and break it down into anger, hurt, fear, understanding, and love, so you can at least look at it, question it, organize it, sort it, make sense of it a little bit better. Yeah.
I appreciate. Yeah, I mean it's fair. Like I
should.
I'm so grateful for what I have. Is like immense. Like that's better. That like even if the rest doesn't count, it's like an immense. That was like I'm gonna do that the second we get off the phone. Like I'm gonna go do that for 10 more hours because like I need that relief. I want to get further. Like I can feel it going down my body. Like I'm gonna do it. Like I have my process that worked. Whatever that was, whatever I did, I'm gonna keep doing that and so like see where that goes. But like. Yeah, like you're right. I definitely, more than hopefully have a tool, I definitely have like a strong ass tool, and I'm extremely grateful for that. And like, maybe I can just bypass the feel. Like, who knows? Like, I did a lot of that work. Maybe I can just say feelings aren't real, and it'll go. Like, who knows? We'll see what my body decides. But yeah, like
who knows?
I'm excited to actually spend some time with myself.
So I'm excited also. I'm excited for you as well. And I'm excited all over, really. And it's just this week. It's this week. Practice this. It's 2 things to practice this week. See how far you go with it. Take it as far as you can go with it. So that way next week, when I give you 2 more skills, you can build on that. Okay. So it's going to be another huge chunk of information you're going to get next week also that can unlock a bunch of things. So just practice. Have fun practicing. Just get good at practicing.
I appreciate that. And also, Pranav, I really appreciate
Thank you.
Yeah, like where you said like the kindergarten teacher thing, like it really like I don't know, it just hit home about that.
Yeah.
It did. Like I don't know. It is kind of like
I mean, I'm not even sure if my advice works for you because I don't know your age range or what you've been through, but
I'm in my 30s. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it still applied. And it was totally validated.
Wow. That was awkward. I thought you were in your mid-20s.
Yeah, a lot. I gotta,
Wow.
I still got that little kid voice, I guess. I don't know. It's maybe, I don't know.
Wow.
And Pranav's pretty young. Pranav's
Yeah,
pretty,
I'm 19.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, now I feel bad. Like, don't worry, you're gonna have a great life. No, I know, I'm a freaky fish. Don't worry. This is what you got. This nothing to do with my age. Trust me. It's got nothing to do with my age. It really does.
Who
It
knows,
has nothing to
honestly?
do with my
It
age.
might, it might not.
We've all been through it. We've all been through it. Pranav's been through it too. No worries, okay?
I mean, it doesn't discriminate by age. Hell, there's 50-year-olds who still have thoughts of their childhood. Maybe it was really horrible, sexual, physical, whatever, maybe. There's no discrimination here. It's really just come to terms, if possible, if financially possible, getting professional help, or just coming here if that's feasible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
really
why I
just
said
comes
I feel lucky, because as an adult, I see lots of adults suffer with, like, look, our country is plagued with addiction. We're plagued with, you said, like, you called it resilience, like, even with the supports a lot of people have, it still fit. This is not, unique to me. Maybe the way I express it and talk about it in intensity or honesty about it is, but like
Mhm.
in some ways, but there's a
I
lot of
mean,
people that have this, and like,
Yeah.
I'm lucky because I like, not everyone finds something that works for them, and they literally go their whole life this way. And that would have been my fate
geographically
too.
speaking, you are very much in a privileged location. In the South, there are many counties that don't even have hospitals, and 1 in 5 people in Texas don't even have health insurance. So yes, a lot of it really does come down to accessibility.
Mm.
So there is an accessibility portion, income, and then stigma. It really
Yeah,
comes down to
big
those three things.
obstacles, really big obstacles. Yeah, to anyone to get help, for anybody to ask for help, there's a huge obstacles there. Absolutely. So yeah, so huge pat on the back for showing up, for coming here, for letting this be part of whatever platform you need to get the help you need, which can also include, seeing a professional counselor on a more individual level if that's what you need for you. And then another important thing here is, if you learn these skills, practice them with others. Find other people in your life. Like you said, other people are struggling with this. You learn how to meditate for 1 minute. If you can show someone else how to meditate for 1 minute, just imagine what that will do for you and for them. So practice, right? And then, it's 7:02 though, I should say. So I should wrap up here. So yeah, so practice. That was the main thing I wanted to say, was practice. And yeah, please come next week. Invite other people, whatever you're working on, feeling through, come to class, and you are more than welcome to work on it in class. There will always be a video afterwards in case you can't come for whatever reason. But if you come to class, I will always work on with whoever is here and help you through whatever you're dealing with. And so practice. And then next week we'll build on this. Practice. And the next week we'll build on this. And then I wanted to say, if anyone is also interested, this is a for free class, but also I offer if you'd like to give a small donation, there are some links at the top of the workbook in case you're interested in leaving a small donation at any time. You are never required to. And the most important thing is to let yourself receive. Let yourself receive these gifts here, okay? It's $24 to hold this meetup group. Believe me, I'm gonna be just fine. Okay, so just let yourself receive all the gifts. Let yourself receive until you cannot receive anymore. And when you can't receive anymore, if you want to give. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Anything you offer, I'm using it to help promote this work and just promote this work and help other people. We all have such a hard time getting in touch with our feelings. Okay, so the fact that I can offer this and that people come and they open up and share such deep stuff and help me through what I'm feeling through as well. I mean, I'm talking priceless. Okay, Bezos ain't got nothing like this. Okay, that's how I feel about that. Okay, so I just want to say thank you to both of you for being here today and for your spirit and your presence and your wisdom. Yeah, thank you both so much.
Thank you so much. So grateful. Thank you so much. Seriously, thank you so much.
Yeah. Gratitude all around. Okay, everyone. So good luck this week. Good luck with your practice. If you need me for anything, shoot me an email. And otherwise, I will see you all next week. Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Take
Bye.
care. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Till next week. Let me stop the screen. Okay. Okay. So you see, there you go. There you go. That was the real deal. Okay. There you go. What a great job of getting the feelings out too. Oh, that was so good. It was so good. That was so good. Okay. So practice. Practice. Okay. And I'll see you all next week too.